So I'm in a Buffalo Wild Wings the other day.
This is Auto Collabs.
That was your first problem.
Yeah. 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 That hatch queso just doesn't sit right at 3 a.m. And this Foo Fighters song comes on, and I'm like, I don't know how I have not put these dots together. But you know, on our little Roadcaster doohickey, and there's the one sound, the song, you know, the intro song?
Oh, this one you mean? Hold on. I'm going to pull that up. This guy?
Okay,
yeah, that one.
Up until that point, until it goes into the dan, but like that
it's a Foo Fighters song. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how I didn't connect these dots.
No, I never did either until you just said that. It's because you've always listened to it to where it goes into like the grind song. Interesting.
Yeah, there you go. So
I have no idea how we're going to transition that into a show intro, but because Elgie doesn't remind me of the Foo Fighters, he doesn't remind me of Buffalo Wild Wings at all.
But he does work at Northwood, and he's helping all sorts of young automotive professionals connect dots in their careers.
Connecting dots.
See what I did there?
By
just changing the topic and to just say what we should have said when we first hit record. Remember that? Oh man, Elgie is one of my favorite people. Like, he's the kind of personality that whenever you're around him, you just get the smile and the warmth and the laugh. And so I'm really excited that we get to spend some time with him, because any time with Elgie is good time. We hope you enjoy this interview. All right, Elgie, I'm so excited we get to do this together today. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time.
I appreciate it. I look forward to it. This is the highlight of my day.
Oh, man. Well, we'll see about that. We'll see about that.
We'll try and keep it that.
No, you occupy, in my opinion, one of the most fascinating positions in the auto industry, because you're the chair of the automotive program at Northwood. So you kind of get to see the future before the future is actually even like ready to see itself. How did you even get into this position? I don't know the story, so I'm going to ask.
Well, I was working for General Motors, actually, and had got transferred to the Flint zone, Flint, Michigan, and Midland's part of that. And there happened to be a couple of people on my zone team that were Northwood grads. I knew of Northwood, but maybe like a lot of people, just as a dealer school, I embrace that now, but I just knew, I said, there's a lot of dealers, sons and daughters that come out of there. And they were getting ready for their auto show. And these two, walked me around, gave me the tour. I had meetings at Northwood, but never really, connected on any other level. And I was sold then both from the level of the students that I got to meet that day, and just the fact that they were really excited about their upcoming auto show. So I went that year, got a chance to do my MBA, and then just got connected where the automotive faculty was having me come in and do guest lectures and presentations. And when the guy before me retired, I was raising my hand saying,
hey, over here.
Yeah, me. And so I got the wonderful opportunity and have been here 12 years now. And like you say, Paul and Kyle, it has just been a pleasure to watch these students, come in as 18-year-old, whether they come from a dealership background or not, but as an 18-year-old with all of the, worldviews of an 18-year-old.
18-year-oldiness.
Right. 18-year-old. I love it. And then connect them to thought leaders, subject matter experts, the X's and O's of this business, and watch them flourish as they take that first internship and first job, and whether they go back to a family dealership or make their way in some other way. It's maybe a small bit of living vicariously through their career choice. Yeah.
What's the split nowadays? What, between like people that have dealership or family dealership background to kind of new entrants, just going, question. Yeah, this is what I want to be a part of.
Yeah, I say it's, and then just anecdotally, that it's 50-50. That 50% come from a dealership background, and then I split it to another 50-50. 50% of those are going back, 50% dad or mom has said, nope, don't come here first, go somewhere else. Or they're going to the manufacturer, a finance company, a vendor. And then 50% have discovered us now either through the auto show or through the World Wide Web. I think that thing's going to make it.
Man. You think it's not a fad?
The Google machine's kind of working? Is that what
it's working?
Where's the other, that 50 that didn't grow up in the stores and they come through the car show or whatever? Like, what are this is what I'm fascinated about, because we're always talking about how can we make the industry, like, how can we get it out front so that so many people who never considered automotive industry see it as a place where they could have a really prosperous future. So like, where did the other 50% that don't have an automotive background, they came through, like, what is their mentality and mindset when they step in? Like, let me learn about the auto industry.
I think they discover some of those great jobs, whether it be from an operational level or an income level or ego level, doing an internship that, hey, I can find my career in retail. Or they look at it, the number of vendors and manufacturers, finance companies as employers. So whether it's an Ally or a Cox Automotive or a Reynolds and Reynolds, where they're going to maybe some of the bigger schools, the state schools, and just presenting themselves at a career fair. Here, not only do they have some knowledge of them, maybe using Reynolds in our lab or seeing a Cox executive on campus, or some of the big dealer groups that come here. And I know I'll leave someone out, but the LaFontaines, the Penske's, the Hendricks, the Flows, that come on campus, they see them as corporate, not having that dealer family background. And so they find their way in the industry. A lot of startups that have come on campus, and they think, oh, that's really cool to see an AI startup that's working in as a widget on the computer, but for a 18 to 22-year-old student, I can see myself in that. And so I think they get a indication, and we're big on industry news. So whether it is your podcast, Clubhouse, automotive news. Just the industry is the books of today for us.
So it's very real time.
It's real time.
How do you define those tracks? Because like the difference between working as a salesperson at a dealer, as a corporate finance executive at Reynolds, as a startup employee, or as a marketing professional at a vendor, are very different tracks and journeys as far as like career path. How does that get defined in the education path? Or is it much more general and then there's kind of like a funneling down? Because I think people typically think about higher education as like, I'm going to be a doctor or nurse, or I'm going to be a business person, or I'm going to be like, how do you funnel that and filter people into these like career paths in this education time?
So as a business school, I mean, we're just all those functional areas. We don't get granular like that. I mean, finance is finance. And so they're going to understand it. And then they're going to understand it from an auto lingo, F&I. So they're actually certified.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I think there's an important piece of context that people listening need to know about Northwood in general. So Northwood is a university. It's a business school.
Correct.
Right? Automotive is a track within the business school that you can take. So like, I just want to make sure like people understand the difference between like this and like an NADA Academy or something like that. Northwood is a business school. That business school has an automotive specific track in it.
Very good distinction that they're coming to college to get a 4-year degree, a BBA, a bachelor's in business administration, and just happens to be in automotive rather than in marketing or in healthcare management or in finance. It's a track. And because of our great long-term relationship with NADA, at one time, there was an NADA Northwood transcript. We were a partner, we still are, but a partner with NADA in terms of the education. People would go to NADA and then complete through Northwood, go to Northwood, then go to NADA. I mean, there was a transcript actually today, and we support the great things that are happening in the NADA Academy and online, and where somebody enhances their skills.
Got it.
But the students here are getting a 4-year degree.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. I interrupted a train of thought to ask you that question, and I don't remember what that other train of thought was now.
Well, and it's just, I was asking about, those functional areas. So you don't get granular in terms of finance or marketing, in terms of, where your career, it's more of who your career starts with. So, you're applying, if Reynolds is coming here with their recruiters, they're also going to those big state schools and just get marketing students or finance students. Here it's just, and we think it gives a leg up because they understand auto lingo if they've gone through our track, but they'll also, hire a finance student or an accounting student or a marketing student. So our students, it just prepares them, for a narrower track. Skills are transferable. They can also go to a really broad career fair and say, you know what, could I get an opportunity at, a hotel? Skills are transferable. The customer experience and managing that hotel.
May that be more a part of the curriculum, because we're constantly talking about the hospitality mentality in automotive and how that should be a lot more of a transferable skill set and mindset heading in. So it's great to know that you're already thinking in this trajectory, because again, this is kind of where we're heading. You recently announced, I saw this announcement, I think it was on LinkedIn, or I can't remember how I heard about it. Maybe it was, I think maybe LinkedIn, but there is a master's program about to be launched. So now you can have a master's degree with a specific in automotive, right?
Yeah. And so they relaunched. I mean, we have a master's in science, in organizational leadership with an automotive focus. The particular master's that I got was called a DEMBA, Dealership Executive MBA. So you've got the basics of a master's program. I mean, we use Harvard case studies here, and you take a concentration or a focus on automotive and what happens between manufacturer dealer relationships, and voila, you have a master's program. So we don't lose our automotive focus in some areas. When we advertise for that, you're getting an automotive, you're getting a master's through an automotive lens. And that's just another, we have the traditional, we have online, we have so many offerings.
I think it's the organizational side that I remember now that we covered this on our morning show.
Yeah.
And we talked about the great dealerships and the great dealers that we see out there.
Yes.
Are great organizational leaders. Yes, they have the building blocks and all the blocking and tackling of inventory management, and, like franchise agreements and real estate, and they have all that stuff going. But the ones who understand how to get an organization pointing in a direction, keeping people attached to the vision of, the leadership or the founder in a lot of cases, or the owner in a lot of cases, those are the ones when you walk in, you're like, this is a really special place. So I remember in the show, we were talking about the fact that the organizational leadership is the center point of it.
Yes.
It just feels very appropriate for the times we're in.
We've discovered one of the simplicities of the auto business. It's the people business. Your employees.
See, now you're going to start preaching on us. Now you're going to go to, now you're going to do a thing.
Take us to church, right? Take us to church. It's a people business. And so I think when you mention organizational leadership, organizational development, organizational behaviors, I mean, you're all of those things, you're talking about people, and all the things that you mentioned, the brick and mortar and the amenities and all that. But it's a people business. The customers are people, the employees are people, the leaders are people. And, once we coach and mentor and, try to put people on the right path, get those that are on the wrong path on the right path, great things can happen to our bottom line, our financials, all our analytics and analysis. But it really is a people business.
So
well,
good.
So see, here's the thing. Thank you for that, because I've been waiting for a moment. Because you're a person too. You're not just this like organizational leadership, education guy. And our team, we've got a great team around us. And they gave us they were like, there's a nugget on your LinkedIn that many people maybe not get to every once in a while. There's a nugget when you scroll down in your little about thing, and it says saxophone. So do you play the sax?
I haven't played in a long time. Now, it's funny you mentioned that because
he's like, but I happen to have it right here.
Right. About to play a tune right quick. No, I'm a huge jazz fan. Played the sax through high school. Especially enjoyed the jazz band. My dad was a big jazz guy, and probably the guys that I admire most in music are sax players. Yeah, that's.
Or do I wish Al was here all of a sudden?
Yeah, because we've got a guy on our team that plays sax, and I feel like when you come to ASOTUCon this year, because it's not right bumped up next to
you moved that for me.
We
moved it for you, baby.
We're like, we gotta get it
because we have a band that plays, and they got a sax player on the back line. We're just gonna have him flip that to you, and you're just gonna be up there grooving.
I love it. I
don't know. Do people flip a saxophone to somebody else? I mean, you can flip a guitar. The saxophone is a little tricky,
right?
You know,
yeah, it's more like a gentle handover.
Yeah,
that's so good. So what is like, because as the industry, and I think there are more and more people gaining knowledge of what Northwood is doing specifically in auto, right? There's a general knowledge, especially with some of the larger companies, but maybe not some of the smaller. And as it grows to be an education path, not just for, people that family has a dealership, and it broadens in that. What type of support or how can others kind of get connected, or smaller dealerships or dealer groups get connected with the education path, or telling more people in their community about it, or bringing along? Maybe there are others that want to create internship paths or career paths. What's the connective tissue for the auto industry that involves
I always say I'm always willing to talk. One, they ought to be tuning in to you guys all the time.
Hey, not a paid promotion.
Northwood.edu/automotive is one way that they can get some of the information. We certainly go to the NADA convention, so if anyone's out there. The other thing that we think we're doing for the industry is we've started a camp last year through the generous support of General Motors that takes that 14 to 18-year-old and exposes them to the industry. Many of those students, we wish that all of them would consider Northwood, but some are going to want to be engineers, designers, technicians, all the different career paths, and there's wonderful universities out there. But to see what happens, no matter what you are in the retail industry, and especially those that are underserved, and that is in communities where maybe General Motors or any other manufacturer has pulled out of, think of Flint, Michigan, Pontiac, Saginaw, Michigan, to say that if your experience was like mine, where you've never been into a dealership, but oh, wow, they put those cars back together in the body shop. They put those cars back to OEM specs in the service department. They sponsor my Little League baseball team, but someone is in that office, business manager, controller with the numbers, and we want to expose young people to those great jobs that are in the specifically the retail industry. But like I said, some want to be designers, engineers, go to the OEM. But we're doing our small part, to try to expose people to this industry.
Well, we'll link that up in the show notes for sure, because I think that that's something that anybody can be sending their people to, or, just encouraging those in their community to be a part of, because that's getting them, starting them young. Why not? Let's go after that.
Please.
Well, Elgie, we really appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us. You are a wealth of knowledge and just a one of the best smiles on the planet to hang out with. So we got to hang out with you a little bit today. And thanks for joining us on Auto Collabs.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate everything you guys do for the industry.
I really love the fact that his origin story was all around that he was just interacting with these people, and then he saw an opening and was like, me.
I want that.
I want in on that. And then has been there for as long as he has. It's a testament to he has a passion and intention for this. He didn't just fall into watching and guiding these young people into a career in automotive. That's exciting for me because I love hearing these stories of people going, no, I'm pouring in to the next generation. And not just that, a really fun generation. We've had the opportunity to be around a couple of these people at like NADA, and then we've had a couple calls with them. These people are fired up for
They're on the
automotive.
hunt, man. They're on the hunt.
You know what? That's funny you say that. Like, I remember coming into automotive being like the freshman class, and it was suits and pocket squares and all of these sorts of things. And now
monogrammed shirt cuffs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still cool, which is still cool, by the way, if you're rocking the monogrammed.
Don't get me wrong,
cuffs.
I love wearing a suit.
I'm just jealous because I don't have them.
You're talking about now other generations coming into this business, and we've got people who dance at conferences now. Like, we've got
we ever?
Yeah, it's like when you say this is the most fun generation, but I also think it's kind of cool that we are part of this industry that now has so many generations of people working in it.
That's right. You know, I think from Elgie's position, you know, when you have a college professor in general, their kids or their students, they just blast out across the country in all different industries, and probably very lucky if they see them or not again. It's got to be fun to know your students are going into an industry where it's kind of such a close family. And even like, not to toot our own horn, but like organizations like ASOTU, who intentionally try to bring people that think the same way together. I mean, it's got to be fun for him to watch these students just like land in their spot, engage in the community, like move on, move up. And he's got every time you're around him, he's like, oh, that person's Northwood grad. That one's a Northwood. Oh, I had this student there. It's just got to be so rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have not connected with Northwood, make sure you hang up this podcast as soon as I'm done talking. Check out the website. Check out what they're doing. Follow them on the socials because they got a lot of cool stuff going on. On behalf of Paul J. Daly, Michael Cirillo, and myself, Kyle Mountsier, thanks for joining us here on Auto Collabs. We'll see you next time.
Welcome to Auto Collabs.
Why are we recording?
Are we rolling yet?